Through. This is kind of odd. I'm not a performer, but I've heard musicians talk about, and I've never gone to a Bruce Springsteen concert, but I hear the boss keeps the lights on so he can see. Has anyone ever seen Bruce Springsteen? Is that right? Is that what the boss does? He keeps the lights on so he can see you? Yeah, I'm not the boss, so I apologize. I am from Philly, and so we have some similarities. Did I hear a little? Really? I actually scheduled tonight's parent meeting because the Eagles are on a bye. If anyone wants to talk about Wentz, go ahead and talk to me afterwards. Thanks everyone for coming. My name is Jeff Wisdom. I'm the director of the club. Before we get started tonight, I do want to take a little personal time and just talk about what the last 16 months has been for me, the staff, our community. First off, thank you. We are a little bit later than we normally are in having our parent meeting. We have some things going on, and that's what we're excited to talk to you about, what's going on in our club. So I appreciate your patience in waiting for the timing of our parent meeting. 16 months ago, when we were told this building was going to sell, regardless of what our interest was, we obviously didn't know what we were about to get into. And about 20 pounds later, some gray hair, higher blood pressure, a son, I've figured out, me personally, I've gained more than I've lost in these last 16 months. I would say I've learned so much more about my passion. You know, my dad said to me once, your passion will find you. You won't find your passion. And I always thought I was passionate about volleyball and committed to the community. I've become passionate about our community. And so I'm excited what that's going to do for our club as we go forward in years to come, using this building as a vessel for how we serve our community. And in a few minutes, I'll introduce John Briggs, our board president, to talk a little bit more about the building. But I wanted to share that with you. 7 months ago, we were in this building, and I talked about it kind of being a dead carcass. It was a shell. There was no life into the building. And even this summer, as we planned our re-entry, and I came to the building, it was very hard for me to get excited about it. I came to it and I had some animosity. I thought about the stress that the scenario put on you as families, on my staff, on our board, on the local hotels and the restaurants. And it was hard for me to process it, to be frank with you. It wasn't until Peter, our programming manager, ran a Sunday clinic, and I was here that Sunday, and all the curtains were up, and we had 6 courts running, and I could hear screaming and high fives and the movement, and immediately I remembered what made this building different and the way our coaches worked in this building. And then you add from that when I had the local restaurants calling us and thanking us, hey, thanks for fighting, thanks for getting us back in, and the hotels and the city. Tonight is kind of the last reconciliation step for me. For you to be here on this night, for me to talk about the future of our club back in this building. So thank you again for taking the time to come out tonight. Each year as I go through this process, I use some images to help me rekindle what the year before was. And you can see, you know, for years I talked about as a director, and this is my 5th year, about Alliance being a community. And I think when I used that phrase for years, it felt more like fellowship and friendship and network and a place to go. This year, community was redefined. It became belongingness and action and investment. And some of these images, how we were able to transform the Williamson County Ag Center in a day into a volleyball venue that we used for 10 days, really, again, was a positive byproduct behind this situation. I may be the most proud of how our organization and our community responded positively, kept the negative thoughts for the most part under control. And I think we handled ourselves in class. And the way we responded to adversity, I think said a lot about what our organization and our community is all about. I'm going to go ahead and introduce John now to speak a little bit about where we are in regards to the building at this point. John.
Well, I don't have a coach's voice, so I will try and project. I'm going to talk about 2 things. One, I want you to understand the structure at Alliance. business, a not-for-profit business. There is a group of us, most of us are here tonight, that are board members, volunteer board members that help with corporate oversight of what's going on in the business. Jeff runs the business, he has a staff of people that work for him, and of course we have coaches and lots of other people who get paid by Alliance to do the things that go on here. So if you have any questions about that, come ask me afterwards, but I just wanted you to understand that this is a not-for-profit business, and these guys they look to us as board members for the reasons we joined the board, which is we wanted to volunteer, we wanted to give back, we want to do these things, but they're looking to us for our expertise in finance and running a business and those kinds of things. They're not looking to us for which kids go on what teams, and then should we have our elbow high or should we be hitting underneath the ball? No, that's not us, right? We have the best coaches around. Jeff is excellent at recruiting coaches, and you will see that in our clinics and in our teams and even in our fall league when the coaches, our Alliance coaches, get involved in the fall league where kids don't really have Alliance coaches. They just have volunteer coaches. The Alliance coaches get involved in some of these things and teach these kids how to play volleyball. It's very impressive. The building. So we're back in, which is a wonderful thing. The purchase of the building is still expected to close this year. It should close by the end of the year. We're very excited about that. It's been a long process. The biggest problem between the first guy who was going to buy it and convert it into office and the new guy who's planning to buy it and keep it as a sportsplex is that other half of the building has been disabled. And they have to figure out a plan for that other half of the building where it can justify keeping the whole building operating and functional, right? They don't need to necessarily make money, but they really can't lose money. Just can't lose money in this area in business and get away with it, right? That would be one of the reasons why it's being sold. So right now we're sitting in a good position. We've been very active in the last couple of weeks with the guy who's getting ready to buy it. We've been active for the last 6 months with the guy who's getting ready to buy it. We'll be able to tell a lot more stories once everything goes public and the deal's done. But I just wanted you to know that we're in. We expect to stay in. There's nothing that's going to kick us out right now. So we're sitting in a good position and we're ready to start our programming and schedule our tournaments and get you girls in here for tryouts and play more volleyball. Any questions? Perfect silence. Did I project? Yes. I don't see that hand. I'm sorry. No, go ahead. What's your question? The original plan was definitely to put rinks back in on the other side, yes. The cost to do that and the timing to do that and other things has been a problem. So right now, it's not likely to be hockey. And believe me, the guy who's getting ready to buy it, and I know I'm not saying his name, but his first choice was to get hockey back in there because he absolutely understands that while there are other gyms and maybe Alliance or basketball club could figure out another way to run their business, there's no other hockey leagues. There is nothing for our high school hockey teams or these kids who are doing figure skating or anything. There's no place for them to go. It's all full. So that was definitely his first choice, and he tried hard to make that happen.
So I'm going to project as John did. I want you guys to meet Griffin on my right and Lily on my left. Two kids that are very special to Alliance. Two kids that both have leukemia. Griffin is the son of Keith and Bree. Keith is the Kennesaw State coach. Bree, his mother, is, I believe, the marketing director for JVA. Lily plays for the 15 South Alliance team. She also plays for Independence under Coach Candace. Coach Candace. Both very special kids, and I'm gonna invite you to something here in just a minute that I hope everybody will come out and support. The support for these kids with Griffin from Alliance. What we did is 2 years ago, we took our proceeds from our postseason shirt, which he is wearing, and donated that, about $1,500 to him and his family. Not a large sum, but something that we could do to help out. Lily, who is, like I said, currently a sophomore at Independence, an amazing young lady. I know much more about Lily because my two daughters play for Independence as well. Lily is currently going through her second bout with leukemia. 5 years, 7 months, and probably 13 days ago now, she was free of her first bout with leukemia. upon that time, she set out to raise $1 million to help cure leukemia, and she surpassed that, her and her family. On Wednesday and Thursday of this week, what we're going to do is have a silent auction out at Brentwood High School at the district tournament. And I hope everybody, if you have younger kids not playing in that tournament, or if you have older high school kids playing in that tournament, please come by and support. I know Jeff has volunteered some lessons for that silent auction. We're hopefully going to put together some balls signed, trying to get some balls signed by some of the upper level teams in the nation for that silent auction. The outpouring of support from Ravenwood High School, Centennial, Summit, who am I leaving out? Dixon, Ravenwood, all of the district schools has just been phenomenal. They're all putting baskets together. They've all taken up collections. So along with what Alliance is doing for these young kids that are going through their own struggle, please come out and support their cause. The money's going to go to help their family and to find a cure for leukemia. So it's just something that's very close to our club, something that when somebody from our family, the volleyball community gets in trouble or has a struggle, we always try to support their cause. So throughout the year, if you guys know of any of those situations, you can feel free to bring them to me. You can talk to Jeff about it. Eugene is our parent liaison. If there's any special things like that that go on, please don't hesitate to bring those to me or any of us. But as you learn about what's going on at Alliance tonight with coaches and fees and structure and the places you'll get to travel in the building, just keep them in mind. So thank you guys for your time.
Thanks, Andy.
Jeff.
Of our season and walk you through. Just on Lily's scenario, you can jump on it. It's called, her Facebook page, Andy, is liliesgarden.org. That's her website, liliesgarden.org. She has a Facebook, which is yeah, so the mom's done a pretty good job keeping the Facebook page updated, so if you want to follow along, feel free. If you want that contact info again, reach out to me. Tonight's presentation is on video. We will have this produced as a PDF as well. So I'm going to move rapidly through some of these slides. You'll have some handouts tonight, but I want to, you see the clock on 55. I have a 72-minute bet that I want to try and win, and I'm told it's a school night, so I need to get you guys out of here. So if you need some more specifics, give us a couple days to turn around the presentation on our website, and video will be online as well. So tonight we'll talk a little bit about who we are, what we've learned, what to expect this season, and how you as parents can stay connected to our club. The mission statement, if you've been here, this has not changed in the last 5 years. I think it's a testimony to it being a live, real document at the start point and the end point of our season. And I'll let you go ahead and spend some time. I think you as a responsible parent need to know what we stand for, and I'll encourage you to jump on our website and read the mission statement in completion. I think a little bit more pressing is just our visions and our goals, and so I want to speak to it. We use strong words: inspire, compel, innovative, goals. I expect our coaches to be enthusiastic, professional, and we want to continue to drill into our athletes the thoughtlessness of effort. That when you invest yourself in something, working hard really is a relative that some generations struggle to learn. And we're trying to encourage our athletes what hard work truly is through team sports. What we believe makes Alliance distinctive and unique to our community, even potentially nationally, is listed here. Specifically for you as parents, coaches matter more than anything else. And one of the questions I have gotten, this is my 29th club season, and I've done boys and girls, so I'm not that old. I feel a little bit older, but after 29 seasons, the steady question I get is, Jeff, how do I pick a club? And my response has been the same for years. First you go to coaches, then you go to culture, And how can you define culture? I don't know. You feel culture. I think you absorb culture and you live culture. But coaches are the most important resource that you as a parent will have for your daughter's growth and her development off the court as well. So I would encourage you, please learn about Alliance and our coaching staff. Very proud of what we put out on the court. Who we are as a staff, I'll just quickly go ahead. Staff members, if you can stand up. Again, their bios will be up on our website. Ann Mullins is our assistant director, my partner. She runs all the satellites, so if you have some questions about satellites, please find Ann afterwards as well. Carolyn Earp. Just stepped out. Carolyn, probably she stepped out because Carolyn does so much for our club, we haven't figured out a title yet for Carolyn. But she's the one that keeps us all grounded. She's your direct point of contact for information, and she'll talk to us a little bit later this evening. Ben O'Day is our technical director. Ben is your point person for lessons, and this year will be a point person for helping with Alliance events, as we plan to host 12 events in this building, as well as positional training, which is a new component this year to the club. Peter Leinert is our programming manager, soon to be our courts manager. If you have questions about any of our recreational leagues, please see Peter. Abby West is our operations manager. She handles all of our registration, uniforms. If you're interested in seeing the uniforms this year, if you're probably under the age of 16, you'll want to see them. They're custom made, and the fabric is Lululemon, correct?
It's the same fabric that Lululemon uses for.
Yeah, so I don't think the cost is the same, but the fabric is. We'll talk about cost a little bit later. John Blair is our mentor coach. This will be John's second year serving as a resource just for our coaches. This is a new position that we rolled out last year. Got a lot of favorable results from our coaches saying it was great to have John there as a voice, as a helpful listener, as an active participant, someone that could mentor me along the way as I ran into some areas I needed support with during the year. Candace O'Brien is our recruiting coordinator. Appreciate Candace being here. This is our second year with Alliance. For some of you, volleyball could be a catapult potentially for a college opportunity. Candace is someone you want to get to know. Again, I would encourage you, Alliance has a pretty successful track record if you see up there with finding those kids who have a dream of getting to the college level. Candace is an active role for you to be a part of. Our Alliance board member, you guys met John Briggs, who's our board president, Danny Lane, who is our secretary. Can our other board members just give a wave? Dean Fulton's in the background. Eugene Keenan's our parent liaison. Our money man, Steve Mullins, is here as well. We're fortunate Laura Burke is also a board member. These folks behind the scenes are the glue to our club. We could not be back in this scenario to talk about the future of our club without our board and the involvement that they have had. I cannot believe they all, to my knowledge, are still successfully married after weekly conference calls that went way too long, and they're successful parents and mothers still. Their kids haven't left them for the work that they've gone through. So I appreciate the board and everything they've done to get us to this point. So what we learned from last year, part of what I try to do, I'm a former special ed teacher, the more information I get, the better off I can be. To me, there's no negative feedback. So you as a parent probably feel like, hey, I'm calling and complaining. To me, your call is emotionless from me. You're not going to drive a response from me that's going to be probably overly emotional either way. Because I want you as a customer to feel like you can tell me what your experience has been. There's no way that I can solve your problem or proactively solve a problem that could be someone else's or build off of a strength that you've experienced if I don't give you that avenue to convey it to me directly. So what we do within our club, during the season, we have a parent meeting. Each team will have one parent leader. In the middle point of the season, I'll bring all those parent leaders together and ask, what are the trends in our club? Instead of us waiting for the end of the season and you do our annual parent survey where you tell me what was going right and wrong and I can't solve it till the following season, The parent leader meeting gives me an opportunity to solve something during the season. So we take that information along with what our coaches are able to give us and create what our plan is for the following season. This year, our parent surveys revealed the following. I'll let you go ahead and read them. Our schedule needs to be more competitive. Our regional teams wanted more training. Our performance, our strength and conditioning program, it was good, but motivations were different across the board. This is the second year in a row, positional trainings were asked at a high level. And a lot of our families said, Jeff, we want to go to the next level and compete nationally. How do we do it? Here's our responses this year. If I can get, yes. This year will be different. We will return to the Southern Volleyball region, which is USA's governing body here in the South. We have stepped away from the region in the past because the competition level was not high enough. We believe that being involved in a power league was going to help that competitive level. After 2 years of involvement, we're not sure that that really occurred. We also learned more that we need to have some more diversity in our schedule. The other big addition to our schedule is we will return to USA Volleyball's qualifying circuit. So those will be two significant adjustments to our schedules. We will be adding positional training, which will be married with positional training will be married with performance training, and they will occur on Monday night for our top teams. Our 16 teams will have, our 16 regional team will have an additional night of practice every week. Our 15 regional teams will add 2 practices a month on top of their normal routines as well. And I'll break this out as we go forward, but these are our answers to what we learned from our surveys and conversations. So I want to spend some time now just to talk about this season, and hopefully this is the meat of what tonight is about. At the end of our time together, I'll give you the team descriptions, which will include our fees and some other pertinent details. But we'll go ahead and walk through. If you're not familiar with Alliance, our Mizuno team are our top teams. They will compete in 11 events. You can kind of see the breakout players per team. The big addition to our Mizuno teams, they will attend 2 qualifiers this year. Big South in Atlanta, which is a 3-day event, and the Windy City Invitational in Chicago, which is over Easter weekend. We've stayed away from Easter weekend for years. This year, to get 2 qualifiers on, we need to get that Windy City event onto our schedule. So that's a big change for us with our Mizuno teams, on top of the positional training, which is a part of your dues that will occur on Monday nights. So as we walk into your practice schedule, I'll talk a little bit more in detail about how that will affect the practice routines. Our Molten teams, their big addition will be our 14 Molten team will have a complete season for the first time ever, which means they will compete up until late June. In addition, our Molten teams from 14 to 18 will participate in positional training and performance training this year as well. We are no longer affiliated with Swiftwick. That was our 3rd level team. We've renamed that classification the Premier Division. Again, some direct feedback that we got was from this level team, I believe is where Alliance has grown the most in what we do. As we get ready for tryouts, understand we may have certain age groups that we have 70 to 90 kids trying out for. We retain 92 to 96% of the top 30 kids that try out. So if we make 32 offers, our retention level is about 31 of 32 for our top 3 teams. So those athletes that at the time of tryouts ranked somewhere between 22 and 31, 32, 33, they're saying, Jeff, we want a full season as well. With the opportunity we have in the building, we're going to be able to supply that for them this year. Again, this will be on the website, and we'll give you a handout as well. Our regional teams, the big adjustment this year. We believe now in our community, if you're a 15 or a 16-year-old playing volleyball, you've probably targeted, this is a life value, this is something very important to me. Where maybe 4 years ago, our regional kids were multi-sport athletes. they were doing an array of different things. We have found through our conversations, our regional players are looking for more opportunities. So if you're 16 years old on our 16 regional team, you will practice 3 times a week. If you're 15 years old, we'll add Monday practices when you have a tournament weekend. So there'll be more opportunity for a high school player on our regional teams. And I'll let this slide sit here. Again, I mentioned to you our coaches as being the largest resource that we have. Once again, Dane Mullins, my assistant director, and I, we work really hard to go out and pursue our coaches. We to date have not had a coach in the last 3 years leave our club to go coach for another club. So I want to say that again. We have not had a coach from our club in the last 3 years leave us to go coach club volleyball somewhere else. I think that tells you if we take care of our coaches, we believe they're going to take care of your daughters more efficiently. So a lot of that has to just do with the quality and experience that we offer our coaches. So I'll let this slide stand there for a second so you see our coaches. Please take a note to just look at that noteworthy comments there above about our staff. So those are our teams 11 through 14. And here's our coaching staff 15 to 18. Yeah, I think it's really important for you to know who is coaching my daughter. If you want to be responsible before tryouts, I'll encourage families, you got to get on our website, we'll get our bios up. You need to know the coaches that are in our gym. It should not be a hidden secret for you to know who's coaching your daughter. It shouldn't be. You as a consumer should be able to do your homework and find out who's going to be responsible for my daughter's development this year. So this 15 through 18 staff, again, I'll encourage you to read a few of the comments there, the noteworthy comments about the eclectic nature of our coaching staff, but just also the richness of our staff. I've done volleyball for 29 seasons. Every year that I've been here, our staff has gotten better. We've been fortunate, and now I believe, and Ann, maybe I'll ask you to help me, we have high school coaches from 7 different schools working for us. For years, Alliance just went after college coaches. Now we really want to get involved in the community. And I think it's a great statement if you're a Williamson County family to see our coaches from Williamson County schools here together. I think it's a bigger statement when you have a Franklin coach and a Ravenwood coach coaching together 8th graders. It should be about your daughters. It shouldn't be about what colors they wear from September to November. It should be about their overall growth. So I think, again, a testimony to what we've done well at Alliance and the coaches in our community. So our practice schedules. So if you are a Mizuno or Moulton team, the way I've formatted this is I've given you the division and then the age. So if you are a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, 18-year-old who makes a Mizuno or Moulton team, you will practice in your traditional spot of 4:30 to 6:30 here at A game. On Monday nights, you'll have 2 hours of performance and positional training. So there'll be an hour of performance training and then an hour of positional training. So you can see as we scan down, we taper it off, that we still believe at 12 and 11, 4 nights in the gym is way too much. Absolutely way too much. At 13s, we're raising the bar pretty high. We've had some success at 13. We feel like this is now a time for us to challenge our community to get our 13-year-olds training more. Any questions about this schedule I can just speak to now? Because this is significantly different. This is a big quality ad for our club that will be included in your fees. Ben O'Day will be our point person running the positional training. He's already working on staff. We'll have some familiar faces from our performance staff here working as well. So Ben will be working through to be very thoughtful about the amount of days our girls are in the gym. So I'm sure there'll be nights that at positional training, you'll come here as a parent and go, why aren't they hitting? Well, they're not hitting because we don't want to jump that day. There will be a direct collaboration between what we do in performance, what we do in positional training, and what we're doing in competition and the time of the year. I'm excited for us to finally be able to roll out positional training. We've had a request for it for years. I've seen other clubs do it, and the trap is, you as families need to understand, there's no exact science in coaching volleyball. There's no right way, and there's no wrong way. So your daughters have the opportunity in positional training to have Ben express, hey, this is what I think you should do to be successful as a, whatever, a middle hitter, a libero, a setter. You may get back to your club coach who says, wow, I haven't done it that way. We encourage our coaches, we want your daughters to be successful. So if Ben's approach makes them successful, we're going to encourage your club coach, that's what we want. We want them to be confident, comfortable, and successful. We will micromanage this program at a pretty in-depth level. And we're fortunate to have Ben who's willing to jump in and be a part of that. So we're excited about being able to add that to your experience this year. If you're on the premier team, you'll be practicing. You can see your times there as well. Just note, Sunday practices vary based upon events. So we'll try to lock you into a set time, but once the tournament season starts to occur, this building is going to be full 12 weekends of the year from January to mid-May. So typically we get into a practice time that would start at 5 o'clock. So at this point, that'll be something that we'll be working on as we go forward. If you are on a premier team and you want the positional training, you want the performance training, we'll give you the option to be a part of that by buying in on your own if you want that. Timing will be important because we need to appropriately staff. Right now in our positional and performance training, that was the driver to us in building the program. We wanted to have a good ratio for coaching and for instruction. So we're looking at about 110 kids for how we're staffed out for both programs. Once that number grows, then I need to add suitable staff. So regional teams, again, if you're a 16-year-old, you will practice Monday and Wednesdays as well as Sunday. If you're a 15-year-old, we're going to add a Monday after a tournament weekend so you don't miss a practice. Questions at this point regarding practice schedule? So this is Mizuno tournament schedule. I'm going to try to give you the schedules. Please know scheduling is somewhat fluid. What I do as a director is I try and network with as many club directors as I can to learn what events are trending up and trending down. So for example, we know an event that we've gone to for years in Indianapolis. There's 5 or 6 other events that weekend, and it's not going to be as competitive except at the 18s level. So our 18s will go there, but our younger teams will not. So this is a tentative schedule. Carolyn has already started to work on lodging, so we're in advance of some of this. But we feel like this is probably the best schedule that we, as long as I've been in the club, have had. A good sampling of play here in Nashville. We've been recruiting clubs for a couple of months to come. We think there's a value for you as a parent to not have to travel, to have good competition here, to save a little bit of money, to eat some popcorn here at A-Game. Part of what we have done now that we will run events, unlike the A-Game team who ran this building, we are highly incentivizing national clubs to come here. This is an it city, right? Everyone wants to come here. We're trying to get them to want to come here for volleyball and incentivize clubs like Union and Kiva to come here and play us here instead of us having to go there. So that's our Mizuno schedule as of now. That will solidify by our tryout time is my goal. We'll see if we can get there. For our Moulton schedule, a little bit different. What will be different for our Moulton teams in comparison to last year, they will be an active part of the Southern Volleyball region. For the Moulton level teams, they must compete in 2 regional events to qualify for the region tournament. If you win the region tournament or place high enough, you can get an automatic bid to nationals in Minneapolis, but you've got to participate in 2 regional events. And please, let me tell you, Volleyball in the South is not that good. Okay? And that's part of our quandary. So what we have done is we're going to go ahead and tell you right now, there's an early date there. Actually, there's not an early date there, but you're getting your handout. We're going to play January the 7th here, a one-day event. I don't care if you don't win a game. I don't care if you don't win a point. It's literally a regional date. It is truly a throwaway date. We're going to throw it away here instead of sending you to Atlanta to throw it away. We're going to have you come here for a day instead of 2 days, instead of going to Montgomery, Alabama to play, to not have a lot of great matches for 2 days. We're going to do it here, one day, and get it done with. For our coaches, they may be a little bit uncomfortable, but after we play that one day, they're going to know when they get into practice Tuesday, hey, this is what we got to work on before we get into MLK weekend when we're really going to compete. So I'm forewarning you now, Molten Premier teams, it's a really early play date. It's one that we thought out. It's actually your 12th event. So our Molten teams are scheduled to play more than our top teams because of the regional qualifying process. Any questions about the regional requirements? Again, if you were with Alliance 5 years ago, this was commonplace. We have not been involved with these teams at the regional level. We believe this is a good step for our club. We know this is a great step for the South in getting volleyball more competitive. Premier teams, again, if you're 15 years old to 17, this will be a season that will run you from late November to the middle or late June. For all of our teams, we are trying to now qualify for USA Volleyball's national championship. If you don't qualify and you're on a Mizuno team, you are going to go to AAU Nationals in Orlando. If you're a 14, 15, 16, 17, or 18 on a second-tier Molten team, it's the same process. We want you to qualify. If you don't, we want a Nationals in Orlando. If you're a Premier team, it is the exact same process. We're trying to up what we offer our families for our top 3 teams. Regional team schedule, that again is a little more challenging for me because now I'm calling other club directors to learn more about events. Our regional teams will play here 3 to 4 times and they will travel 3 to 4 times. When I send our regional teams out, I want to send them to venues that are comfortable, that they're cost effective, Carolyn can get you hotel rooms, and we can find worthy competition. That takes a little time for me to go through that process. So we'll try to get that scheduled to you as soon as we can. So the kind of final phase of this evening, I think I'm on point with time. Again, I mentioned I'm a special education teacher. Diagrams mean a lot to me. This to me is a diagram of a successful experience. And it's risky, guys, in youth sports. I'm telling you, come to the gym. Watch the coach. Watch your daughter. Learn the game. You can't do that in the parking lot. So it is risky to put you together, but I think the reward is even greater. We ask if you're going to be part of our club, you're going to trust us. I ask our coaches, if you're going to be employed for us, you're going to be consistent and available to communicate with families who want to learn how best to support their daughter. If we have a player step away from communicating with their parent, we're going to have a problem. This diagram won't work. We need to be able to work through for your daughter's well-being together as adults. As we communicate, it is really important for everyone to understand our club does have what we call a 24-hour rule. I'm the third year in a row I've said the exact same thing in this parent meeting. I don't know what I think about it. The 24-hour rule says you're in Atlanta, you don't understand what's going on, you can't talk to that coach till you get home. You cool off, they cool off, you have a conversation. Here's the scenario I played out, but you get in the car and you're stewed. You are upset, the radio is off, she's in the back listening to her headphones, and you're driving for 4 hours, 6 hours Atlanta traffic, right? You get home, you talk to someone you care about, and you get more frustrated, you can't sleep at night, you wake up the next morning, and you're ready to go. That's my wife with me a lot. And we figured out if we actually talk about it the night before, it may be better. I give our coaches the freedom, and I'll encourage you as parents to be thoughtful. You've got to be understanding who you are and your coach. If you want to go to your coach and say, hey, coach, you have a minute? I want to talk to you about something. And that coach says, hey, this isn't the time, you need to respect that coach's comment. But if that coach would rather you say, I want your coffee to taste good tomorrow morning, yeah, what's going on? Well, why isn't Jenny playing? Well, you realize that Jenny's practice is horrific on Thursday. And you realize I need Jenny to do A, B, and C, and she's not doing C. Maybe she's not doing B, so I'm not going to get her out there. That's going to be up to our coaches to decide. Ultimately, they can say, hey, in a day, give me a call. You then have an opportunity to meet with that coach. If you're not satisfied at that point with what you heard, that's when we start to get our staff involved, whether it's me, whether it's John as the mentor coach, to help walk you through what we're doing and why we're trying to do that. I'll encourage you, and this is the most blowback I get, your daughter should be a part of that if she's of high school age. She should be in that meeting, because if we're going to go back to that diagram, everyone needs to hear the same information. You, as a parent, I'll caution you, if you're going to have some concerns, I need you in the gym. I would just tell you, if you want to come to us with some thoughts, be here and be a part of it. That's what we want before we jump the gun, or our coaches jump the gun either way. Handbook will be up on our website. We expect you to read through that handbook as well. Just a few highlighted points. That enforcement of the 24-hour rule kind of falls back into our coaches. I'll encourage you again, volleyball is a team sport and it's a shared experience. The decisions that you as a family make and your daughters make affect our teams. So I didn't do a good job last year as a director in this, I'll say it now. The senior prom, go to it. But understand, if you're going to make a commitment to be on a 1s, 2s, or 3s team here at Alliance and you're in high school, I expect you to play if it's senior prom time. And know, hey, I got my senior prom. I expect that. I expect that from the commitment. If we want to be a national club, that should be something that is a sacrifice for a student athlete. And I get it. Your daughters sacrifice a lot, but we try as a club to work hard to give you time for family and to plan ahead. That's why we work hard to get our schedules together, so you can see when you have off weekends and plan accordingly. Any questions about the communication points that we've talked about? Or Gene, any comments as a parent liaison you want to kind of firm up? Okay, good. That communication piece, guys, it's really important to me. I really think that you're going to feel more satisfied as a customer if you know your voice matters, and it does, and it will. Your coaches don't have a choice. They work for me, okay? They work for John, but they work directly for me. I want your thoughts. It's the only way our club can get great, is by you guys supporting what we do. So what our fees include in Carolyn, hey, you just lectured me that you've been doing this for 10 years, and you were going to be on point when you got to your time. All right, let's go. I need these fees out here. We're going to hand out our fee structure, the team descriptions, as well as the schedule, so you have that in hand. This classification document, we call it, will get posted up on our website as well. It's important you know there's no hidden fees in what we do. So the only thing you as a family are accountable for is your own travel costs. What we as a club provide for you, Carolyn and all the multiple duties that she does, she works with local hotels to block out rooms. We don't get any kickbacks for our blocks. All we do is try to help you as a parent find suitable housing. What happens in the process when we get into events, our event host will encourage us, we'd really like for you to use this housing. And we try to work through those processes. Carolyn, maybe you can speak a little bit more to that later when we get going. You as a parent are responsible for your daughters. I hire coaches to coach, not to chaperone. So it is upon you, it's It's your responsibility as a parent to make sure either you're traveling with your daughter or there is a responsible adult who's traveling. So if I could just borrow your eyes real quick, I want to talk about why that's important to me. Because again, from my experience, one of the hardest situations I've had is when I caught one of my players breaking curfew rules. So what do? I call mom and dad who don't pick up the phone, and what's now my leverage the next morning? I don't play her. The only leverage I have, right? So now I don't play her. Our team isn't nearly as successful. The athlete who has to come off the bench, I wish she would view that as her opportunity, but our young females probably struggle right now to say, that's my opportunity to shine, I'm going to jump on it and run with it. It now became a distraction to our team. We don't parent your children outside of the court. We may mentor them at times, we may encourage them, we may relocate their thoughts, but we expect you as an adult to travel with your children. I think it's a reasonable request, especially knowing what's out there in the real world, right? So I want to encourage, that's part of your responsibility, lodging, food, travel. You'll see everything that's listed in your fees, that is paid up front, and we promote it. There is no hidden cost. We're not going to come back to you to say, hey, we're running low on money, you need to pay more money. That's not going to occur. This year, we've signed a contract with a startup company in California who has 5 large clubs in California that make custom volleyball gear. We're really excited about Ren. They use, as Abby mentioned earlier, Lululemon material, which I guess our girls love, right? So it's a design for our kids that will be exciting. When they walk into that convention center and they look around, no one is going to look like a Lions kids. I think immediately it's going to be part of the confidence that we want to instill in our kids. They're going to look great and they're going to feel like, hey, we stand out and we matter and we're going to feel good about how we look. If you want to take a look at the jerseys, some of them are hanging out outside on your way out. You can see that. This also breaks, sorry, was that? Okay. This kind of breaks out what that actually entails as well when it comes to who gets shoes and who doesn't. We know some of that matters. If you are families that want shoes or some of these things, we'll have them here to purchase on your own. We know it's hard to find knee pads, and we have some of those things already. Carolyn, you ready to go? Yeah. All right. So I'll introduce Carolyn. She'll talk a little bit, and I'll go back to tryouts. A little bit about fundraising, Carolyn, and just the housing process.
Okay, real quick, because he only has 20 minutes left. Fundraising, we have a few opportunities that a lot of our families do take advantage of. Kroger is one of the easiest things that you can do. Just use the Kroger card, scan it when you go in. Small percentage, unfortunately, over the last couple of years, Kroger has changed the program and the way they rebate the money, but every little bit helps. I mean, we've got babies that, you know, some will get $10 a month, some may get 40, depending on use of their Kroger card. I'll skip over to Spirits. That can be a little bit more of a return for you. Those are gift cards that you can purchase just to anywhere and everywhere. There's probably 1,000 vendors that you can get: stores, restaurants, movies, cruises, you name it. They may give anywhere from 1% to 20% back. Melissa Perry handles that for us. Kroger, really just contact me, and I'll send you the information. It's on our website under the fundraising tab as well. Easy to do. Third thing, not so easy to do, but can be fun. A lot of our parents take advantage of it, is going down to Bridgestone and working concessions. You do have to train. You have to recertify every year. That's handled by Eric Grubbs. He's done that for several years for us now and has agreed to do it again this year. He'll set you up to train. It's 3 or 4 hours that you go in and train. Then as a group, you go in and work different stations at Bridgestone. At a minimum, you're going to make $65 for the event. It can be higher than that depending on the event, or if you work, like during the All-Star games last year for hockey, you can make probably twice the $65 a night. And then think about it. If both of you work, then you come home at the end of the night and you know, made a pretty good dent if you do it 3 or 4 or 5 times in your kids' fees. We have families that have paid entirely by working Bridgestone, so definitely take advantage of that if you don't mind actually doing a little work. And
bring John back here to talk a little bit about our financial support program that we have. I'll just encourage you guys as families, part of our calling as a nonprofit is we want athletes to play volleyball. We don't want money to get in the way. We have to be responsible of how we conduct business, but we literally will work with you if you want to write us a check once a week for 52 weeks to get your fees done. As long as you communicate that to me or to Carolyn and commit to it, we'll work with you. We understand everyone's scenario is a little bit different. Those timetables that are in front of you are timetables for our club when payouts occur that help us meet our benchmarks in a timely manner so we can supply you with what we need to supply. If those benchmark times are a challenge, that's where we help. That's where we ask you to reflect the same transparency that we're trying to give you to say, hey Jeff, can we sit down and talk about some options here? Have that conversation. I want to help your daughters play. Our club doesn't want anyone to walk away from us because of the fee structure. We don't. So just know there's some flexibility there. Sorry, John.
So we do scholarship kids. We pretty much don't ever give anybody 100%. That's just not what we're about. We're trying to help families participate in volleyball. If you or someone you know is interested in this program, an email to Carolyn will get you the application. Once you fill out that application, you can email it back in or mail it back in, whatever. Only 2 sets of eyes see it. It's totally confidential. Coaches don't know who scholarships. The director doesn't know who scholarships. It's up to 2 people on the board who make that happen. So it's not about putting a kid who can't afford to do something on this team or that team because that coach can deal with it, or that's not what it's about. Your kid tries out, they're going to make the team that they're supposed to make, regardless of whether they're scholarship or not. We generally award the scholarships after the, obviously after tryouts, but also after that 10-day waiting period when really your first payment's supposed to be due sometime early November. That's about the time where we start saying, we've got all the applications we're expecting, most of them, and we can start parsing out the money we get. Are we doing our event, Joe?
Yes.
Yeah. So we do a little event here in December. Some of it, normally it's a 3-on-3, kids and a coach playing with each other, against each other, that kind of thing. All the money that goes into that evening's stuff goes into our scholarshiping fund. There are a couple other contributors to our scholarshiping fund as well. So we give away thousands of dollars. I don't want to blow up numbers or anything like that, but we give away thousands of dollars to get some kids who would have a hard time playing. And we try to do the best we can do for you guys and families that need that. If you have any questions, Carolyn understands the rules. I'm part of the process, so we'll make sure that we answer any questions if you have them. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. We've had some great corporate sponsors help us to fuel that assistance program as well. So if you have someone that knows may want to make a contribution to that as a tax write-off, Steve Mullins will call them tonight if they're interested. Tryouts. To me, tryouts are, gosh, is this the hardest time of year or what? Yeah, for everybody. And I say it not to trivialize it for you, but it's hard on us as well. We take it very serious in what we do, and I'd encourage you to come to our tryout. Because what we do is we create many layers of evaluation. We'll go ahead and hire, in years past we've hired college kids just to be on the court and enter balls. This year we're trying to even stay away from college kids. Ben's been working on, for weeks, getting our Alliance coaches to be that first level of tryout support. Our second level is our coaches that are actually coming in to help run courts. The third level is our coaches that are trying to assemble teams. The fourth level of support is our coaches that we hire to just evaluate. So every kid is going to have a tangible evaluation on the 5 major skills. So we may bring in Candace, our 17th coach, to just grade attacking. So all she will do is score out tangible scores. It's the same evaluator, so the baseline is set. And then finally, a director will run your tryout. Ben formulates the tryout plan, either Ben or myself run the tryouts. What we've decided, and we believe this is the best formula, is, especially for our younger athletes, we like 90-minute blocks. It gives your daughter, if she has one bad day, it doesn't determine her team. So she may have one bad session on Sunday, and that session may be 1 o'clock to 2:30. You have her parents for 2 hours or 3 hours to build her back up again and bring her back in her gym. We want to see her resolve. Was that first session just a bad session? The second session, she's got a great session? That's what we hope. And then she comes in for the second day, and that's really the meat of our tryout. But for most of our athletes, especially from the ages of 13 to 16, where they're really growing individually, we're trying to give them as many opportunities to show their best ability to as many people as we can to evaluate. In between sessions, our coaches get together and we start to rank and we start to talk and we start to argue, and sometimes we fight and sometimes we bicker. I only get involved when I need to. The evaluations that you as parents got last year from your coach, that's only for my consumption. Those evaluations don't come into play when we place teams the following year. Tryouts is a hard time. We understand it. What's a little different this year in the Southern Volleyball region that we're a member of, and they govern our tryout policy, you now as a parent have 10 days to accept or decline the offer that we make you. So on the 11th day, if we haven't heard from you, we now have the ability to rescind that offer. That is distinctly new. In the past, there was one date that all the commitments need to be done by. The region really felt the calling to say clubs like Alliance are going to form 50 to 60 teams. It's a process. For years, I've struggled with that athlete who wants to be here for whatever reason, and she's wanting to be on that regional team, and she's waiting for days. I'd encourage you, again, I think you as a parent can be a difference maker for that young lady. You doing your research in advance and knowing the schedule and the cost and the practice schedule, and your coach, when you get that call, you should be ready to accept it. We also want you to go to other tryouts. We've tried to schedule our tryouts around the other clubs in the area. You, again, as a consumer, should go into those tryouts and learn what's out there for your daughter. Coaches should be the driver to what you decide to do. Culture, again, should be the driver for where you want to place your daughters. So just know in advance, that's distinctly different. We will have some documents that every year we produce for tryouts, which are called the next step. For you as a parent, it tells you what is coming and the timetables in which it's occurring. So we'll get you some more information about uniform fitting days and some commitment days as we get to tryouts. Questions about tryouts? Yes, ma'am.
So on the second day, when you come to fourth, but it says 2:45 to 2:15 decision and 6:15, 7:45.
Yeah, so let me just kind of speak to it. And maybe Ben, you can help me here. I'm shooting a little bit off my mind. If you're age 13 through 16, you're going to have 2 90-minute sessions.
Yes.
It's a little different this year, though, correct?
Yeah.
Do you want to speak to this?
Yes.
Sorry. Here, let's speak together. So on day 1 of our tryouts, which is Saturday.
One session. Okay, so for the older kids, or for our middle-aged kids, the 13s and 14s, day 1 they will have one session. Okay, and
that's a 2-hour session.
It's a 2-hour session. Then we will come back on, I believe it is the Monday.
Sunday.
Or Sunday.
For 13s and 14s.
We come back on Sunday, and then they will have, just like that 90-minute session. 13s will leave, 14s will come in. They will have a 90-minute session. There's a little bit of time off in there, then the 13s come back. In our thing, what we like is for kids to come to at least 2 tryouts. So if you can make the Saturday tryout and then you can come to just one of the tryouts on Sunday, then you've made your 2. If you miss one on Saturday, you can come to both on Sunday, then you've made both of your 2. Ideally, yes, we'd love to see you guys at all 3. The more we see your your daughters play, the more we can actually evaluate them and the better we can place them. If we see them for a half a session here and a half a session there, it becomes a little bit more difficult for us to go, this is the best place for you. That is
right. So it's a little different. You've been in our club.
turn behind you.
The day one, Saturday, is a 2-hour block, where in the past, day one has been 2 90-minute blocks. That's us, again, trying to accommodate some of the other clubs who are going on that day. So if you are 11 and 12, I believe then it is just 2 days and 2 blocks of time. If this coming weekend you're 13 and 14, you have 1 2-hour block here on Saturday. Sunday, you have 2 90-minute blocks. 2 weekends later, if you're 15 and 16, you have 90-minute blocks and a big 2-hour block. If you're 17 and 18, we feel like you need to be able to show yourselves in 2 2-hour blocks and get it done with. Was there another question about tryouts? Yes, ma'am. Yes. Perfect. So let's just talk. Can I just jump in? I'll let you finish it. What we'll be doing this year with our offers, we're going to evaluate how many athletes are signed up for the makeup scenario. So let me speak to that so you understand. So if we have 5 athletes signed up that are 14 years old for the makeup, we know we can make Sunday night, after the second day of tryouts, I can make 5 offers that night, on Sunday night. Because I only have 5 14-year-olds coming in the gym on Tuesday. We are not going to make offers until we know how many people are coming to the makeup tryout, so there'll be no walk-ups for makeups. You've got to sign up. If we have 10 kids, or excuse me, 11 kids in the 14s age group who sign up for makeups, we will not start forming teams until Tuesday night. So I want to be, I don't know if I'm being really clear. We want to start the process as early as we can, but we don't want to take away the value and the integrity of the tryout. So if we have a ton of kids at 14s going to the makeups, we won't start forming teams Sunday night for 14s. If we have no kids coming to the makeup tryout at 14, we're going to start forming teams Sunday night because I want to get the process going for our athletes that are trying to make a regional team at Alliance. Did I get ahead of your question? Excellent. Any other questions about tryouts? Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, all the tryout information is up on our website. It's on one of the rotators there. If you want to see one of us tonight, I think Peter has some flyers, our program manager, here for tryouts. Peter, yes?
Yes, sir.
Can you raise your hand so he knows who Peter is? Yeah, what will happen on that flyer, it's going to give you the birth date, and it will drive you to what age you fit into as well. So, questions, general questions at this point. I could not have done this good of a job.
Jeff, can I interject one thing about tryouts?
Sure.
As far as registration for tryouts
Absolutely.
goes, because I see this every year. Just whenever you do go to register, if you haven't already, if you put in your daughter's birthday that's in and she's a 13, it's automatically going to take you to 13s, but you're going to see 13 and under, 13 and under South, 13 and under Airborne, Murfreesboro, Loretto, North, because we have several satellite locations. If you're interested in playing on a team here in Cool Springs in this gym, just click on the one that says 13 and
That's a great segue. Let me just speak to that because it seems to be something that we address a little bit more here since I've been in Tennessee than other parts of the country. We believe it's important for your daughter to play in the grade appropriate to her age, especially when she gets to high school. So let me back that up. If your daughter's in 9th grade, we believe if she's eligible to play 15s, she should play 15s. Even though she may be eligible to play 14 and under, we don't think socially and healthy-wise it's good for a 9th grader to play down with 8th graders. It doesn't help her development. We do have a lot of athletes in our club who are in 9th grade, and traditionally 9th graders should play 15 and under, who their birth date drives them to have to play 16s. There's really nothing, guys, we can do about it. We can't get a waiver to say, hey, we want this 9th grader to play 15 and unders and still uphold what we want to do at a national level. Other governing bodies will allow a waiver, but you can't compete at the highest levels possible. So waivers just really aren't applicable in many cases. Another unique scenario that we're in, our goal is to put athletes in spots where they can be comfortable and competitive. At times, that puts us in a spot where we've got to make a decision about an athletically gifted player who isn't going to find the challenge and the success at her grade. We as a club may need to move her to another age, the challenge athlete. We do not do that a lot. But with the growth of our club and the growth of our athletes, it's something we consider now a little bit more than we ever have done in the past. I'll strongly encourage at the younger ages specifically, it's important to play in your age. Socially, it's important. Physically, it's important. Skill development at the younger ages is crucial. So for example, we don't like our 12s playing 13s because now they're worried about the bigger ball at 13. They're not worried about their skill. They're not worried about their technique. They're worried about getting that big old bowling ball over the net. That's not how you train. So we try to not put our 12s in 13s divisions. The flip side at the 11s, there's just not a lot of 11s volleyball out here in our part of the country. So our 11s have got to go play 12s a lot of time in the year, but it's the same ball. So it's a different shift that occurs. Any other questions? Peter, can you make sure that buzzer doesn't hit? Thank you. Yeah.
It goes off some kind of technical glitch.
Okay. I will be here to handle some questions. If you have questions about Fall League, Peter, can you put your hands up?
Yes.
If you have questions about satellites and issue persons, anything about lessons would be Ben or tryouts. Other than that, everyone, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.